Bethany in Fargo, North Dakota. This is Seymour Betta with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to do what nobody in North Dakota would do for you, which is cut prescription lenses in your vintage Cateye frame that you bought off of Etsy or eBay or one of the other sites that are out there, Brisk Sale, Macari, I forget which one you said there was. There's so many nowadays. But they were afraid to take out your original glass lenses. Yes, that is glass. Because the risk of breaking an old vintage frame, I'm afraid of it too, but you know, I just use a little bit of heat and it comes out. How cool is this frame? Great Cateye, two-tone gradient colors with the aluminum trim pieces on there. Going old school, going retro. So now that the scariest work has been done taking these lenses out, let's do the easy work and put your prescription lenses in there. I'm going to put your frame into the tracing element of my blocker and hit start. A little stylus is going to pop up and go around and trace the inside bevel of this Cateye on the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine authentic frame from me, which this is not, and I'll install one free pair clear of single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses if that's what you want in a Cateye frame. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. That is the shape that we will be cutting there. That is the right lens, so it's going to be flipped. In fact, let's flip it. Yeah, see? There you go. And let's bring that back. Let's go ahead and push it on to the next screen to magnify it. Now, your pupillary distance for your right eye is 27.5. The computer starts at 32, so we're going to go over there to tap the minus button a few times till we get to 27.5. I do want to raise the optical center height up to, let's say, 20. Let me write that down before I forget. We're going to put that at 20. Because with most Xyle frames, the majority of the frame is below your eye. You're looking through that top third. So I'm moving the optical center height up to place the right in front of your pupil. So let's see, let's come down here, let's grab your lenses, come down to my lensometer, make sure it's at 0. Good job, lensometer. Okay, so your right eye reads minus 150, minus 75 at 165, minus 150, minus 75 at 165. We're going to turn the axis wheel to 165. Take your lens out of the protective sleeve, put it into the viewfinder. Well, let's put the what's the power? Minus 150. Put the power drum on minus 150. Rotate the lens until the spherical component comes in clear. Check your astigmatism correction. Find the optical center, and then I'm going to place 3 dots on your lenses. And I'm going to mark this one your right lens. Let's do the same thing for the left, which reads minus 150 sphere, minus 150 sphere, 0 astigmatism. Put that in. Of course, all we have to do is find the spherical component because there is no astigmatism. And this lens could rotate in here perfectly because there is no cylinder. No astigmatism. But let's go ahead and mark this one L for left. Now, if anyone missed any of that, let me recap. I tell you, I get more out of that joke than anyone else. I don't know why that is so funny to me. But you guys have to sit through these videos and listen to it, so put up with it. Oh, your case. Okay, here's a good point. This is the case that she mailed me. So just take some super glue and a weight. Usually what I do, well, my old bottle of rubbing alcohol would fit in there, but just put some super glue, something heavy, some tool that you can put in there, weigh it down, and then that will dry back down there. I'll see if I can't do that for you. As a token of my appreciation for coming to me when no one else would be willing to help you. So, this is a block, or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. So I need to use a double-sided adhesive sticker to attach that to your lens, of which I've got some here. Let me pull off 2. The black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick this one onto the first block, do the same thing now for the second one. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Now on the back is a little magnet, that silver button. That's going to do its job twice today. The first time it's going to attach itself to something magnetical in the arm, just like that. Look at that. Now the reason I put those 3 dots on your lens is it tells me that it's oriented in there just perfectly. So let's go ahead and get everything lined up just right. The blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally, that's where you'd be at. Your eyes just above that in inset. That is why I raised the optical center up of the frame so that it's closer to your pupil. And I'm going to hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We'll do the same thing now for the unright lens. Now, as I mentioned before, because you have no astigmatism, this lens could literally be oriented in there any direction. It's not going to matter. You're going to see the same. If you had an old Ben Franklin style frame that was completely round and the eye wire screw got loose and this lens rotated, generally you would see the same. The only thing different would be on a round frame, it's not an issue. In your frame, because of the cateye shape, even though it cannot rotate in the cateye shape, it's just not going to turn. But should the pupillary distance be off, the optical center, that would affect your vision. But in a round frame, never, never. So, pull the sticker off, get everything lined up. Your pupillary distance, where's your card? 29 for your left eye. It has mirrored your right, but we're going to go up. We're going to tap the plus button a few times till we get to 29. Now, all we have to do is line up this one dot. I literally could turn your lens, these two dots that are at a 45-degree angle. For the sake of the demonstration, let me do that. Hit that button. The arm's going to come down, place the block onto the left lens. See how the L is rotated? I usually put it at the top, but with your prescription I can do that. Now this is the edger. It costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. It's going to do all the work while I run my mouth, and you know, that seems fair. The actual cutting, I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your kitchen counter, then you can cut your own vintage lenses at home and you won't need this guy anymore telling you the bad recap jokes. So, but the cutting wheel is over here on the far left. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center, that channel, that little valley, that's what's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and wake up the computer. Wakey, wakey. That is the shape we'll be cutting. That is the block. Mine are getting low. It's showing its age. It's turning gray with age. But let's see, these are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high-index plastic or Trivex, I would select that. Or some very futuristic TBD, some lens material to be determined later. But we're going to stick with polycarbonate. Oops, that's not the button. Okay, polycarbonate. I'm not going to polish the edge of your lenses because they won't be seen. I'm not going to place a bevel on the front convex surface of the lens because it's not going to protrude from the front of the frame. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens, the back side. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. I'm going to go ahead and let the magnet do its job twice today. It's now going to attach itself to something magnetical there in the chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I just don't know this machine well enough to call it Chuck. I also don't know enough jokes to refresh these, so you're stuck with me. But I am going to do something new today in just a moment. So I'm going to hit the green arrow, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by two white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as it's going around tracing the shape. And the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once. It's measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. I can move the bevel forwards or backwards to have a better fit, but with your prescription in this frame, you're not going to have any edge thickness anyway. Now, if you see water flickering, if you see light flickering, that is water to catch the optical sawdust as it comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Now, water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any optical debris that you may see beginning to form on the edge of the lenses. Now, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistic-grade lenses that have both 100% UVA and UVB protection. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. Now, you also have aspheric lenses. Aspheric simply means not spherical. It has a flatter curvature to also give you a wider field of view and a better cosmetic look. Now, here's something new. I am going to cross-promote, cross-platform a friend of mine. Bethany said she wants these to wear to a rally in her state where she is going to wear, and I hate saying this word, she is going to wear her pussy hat at a protest rally, and that's what she needed these for. A friend of mine who runs a website called www.soulshinesundries.net makes pussy hats and sells them on her website. These are handmade by local person. We have them in pink. We have them in darker pink, or is that purple? Please don't ask guys, pink and purple questions. But then again, my favorite, the red, white, and blue hat, that I couldn't decide which pattern I wanted. So I said, make me one like this, or make me one like that, and then I'll figure out which way faces forward. And I would put this on, but it would cover up my camera, so I can't do that. But she has made one for me because I had no idea what these things were. I got the email saying that she wanted to wear these vintage glasses with her pussy hat, and I had to get out there on Facebook and ask people, what's a pussy hat? So that's that. Anyone who wants to support local artists, these are all handmade. It can take up to, each one is made personally for the individual based on the color of yarn they would like, and it can take, let's say a couple weeks before they ship. But please contact Crafty Rachel Ray at soulshinesundries.net. You will not be disappointed. She is good people. Another independent artist such as myself, competing among corporate giants, and I would appreciate if you guys sent a little business her way. So that is your cat eye shape, approved by my cat, by the way. Mr. Whiskers, actually my wife's cat. Here, let me show you. Okay, let me clear that out of the way. There's Mr. Whiskers, my cat's pride and joy. I used to be my wife's pride and joy. I used to be my wife's pride and joy, but I've been replaced by a cat. And then to add insult to injury, she put that picture on my phone. So I do want to change it, but it's still cold, and I don't want to sleep in the driveway, so I do what she tells me. So we're going to tuck the lens in on the left side of the frame, and we're going to push down at the nose. And it does not snap in there easily. I do not want to force the lens into a very brittle vintage pair, so I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter and hit retouch. I'm going to take off 1/10 of a millimeter going around the circumference of the lens until it snaps in there easily. I could use heat, as I did, to take the lenses out, but using heat causes the frame to stretch a little bit, and again, could make the frame more brittle. I just want to easily snap it in. So, can you imagine what the cat eye glasses look like with that? Vintage with the hat. How cute. Or would you like it with the darker pink, lavender, fuchsia, purple? You can't have mine. This one's mine. I'm keeping this one. But again, if you have a favorite color or pattern, she's very crafty, so I'm told, and she can do just about anything for you. So she's willing to work with everyone one-on-one. Very easy to get along with, very easy to work with. Again, have I mentioned www.soulshinesundries.net, spelled SOULSHINESUNDRIES.net. And if I have to spell net for you, then you got bigger problems. She also makes some incredible soaps, homemade soaps. That's really what she's famous for, and she's just now started getting into these. So go to her website, buy some soap, send her some emails. If there's something you really want or you're looking for, I'm sure she has the ability to make it for you or find it for you. So that pops in there. Let's flip that over to L. Hit the green button. The door is going to close. The clamp's going to shut. The lens is going to now be traced by the two white styluses again, just like before, making sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. You can see as this go around tracing out that cat eye shape. And just like before, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness, of which you got none, Bethany. Nothing, I'm telling you, got none. No edge thickness. Not with your prescription in this frame. So let's go ahead and take this block off. dry that off with my palm. Always the best way to dry anything when you're a guy. I could wipe it on my pants, but I'll do it on my hand. And now, to complete the artwork, it's almost done. Now, Bethany, this is part 20 of my 250th million volume set of making a pair of glasses for everyone in the U.S. So stick around for 250 million more videos to see how yours ranks. So let's come down here to the lensometer. I don't have to spin the axis wheel, it's still on 165. I'm going to put it in just above that black dot. Well, actually on that black dot. Get the flashlight, read the power, and I'm getting minus 150, exactly halfway between 1 and 2. That's because the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0 and goes up in quarter increments from there. So you're on the 6th rung of a ladder. 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, 150. Now, you are nearsighted, which means you can see up close. You can see near very well, but you have difficulty seeing far away. So you have 6 steps of far-sighted correction. Now, once everything is the right size, we have to take away any fuzzy edges that is created by astigmatism. There is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. You don't freak out when you hear that, but everyone freaks out over the word astigmatism. This part of the lens makes it the correct size. Astigmatism correction, well, astigmatism, uncorrected astigmatism makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. There's a second curvature on your eye. You have a spherical component of minus 150. Now you have another 0.75, a second curvature, and it's how we line up those two curves to make everything nice and crisp. And we're going to turn that fine-tune knob to 165. A straight line is 0 to 90 to 180. We're going to turn that knob, fine-tune knob, to about 165. So let's go ahead and check your astigmatism correction. And we end up, the second curvature, we end up at minus 2 1/4. That's because, remember high school algebra? Yeah, me either. Let's use today's terms. If someone had borrowed $1.50 from you and then they borrowed another 75 cents, they would owe you $2.25. That's where we're at, $2.25 in the red. Now, these first two numbers with your right eye are real values to be concerned with. Your left eye is only minus 150. You have no astigmatism correction there. This number could be anywhere from 0 to 180. And we're done. Let's come down here. Let's grab the unright lens. Okay, the left lens. Out of the Chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby. Dry everything off. There's one thing I see here I would like to do. I want to clean my markings off the edge of the lens because I do not want to have any of my lab's chemicals near the edge of your frame. I take extra precaution when using vintage frames. So, tuck it in at the outside corner using my thumbs, press down, and you know what? It's not going in there, so another 1/10 of a millimeter we go. 0.5, 0.20. So now we went from 0.10 to -20, smaller hit retouch. That's how precise this computerized equipment is. It measures the right size, it measures the left size, and if the left is ever so slightly smaller, I'll have to make the lens smaller to fit in there. It does not assume that A equals B. Dun, 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 dun. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera, no, I'm not going to wear these cat eye glasses with that. Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 3 back in the case. They're so soft. Men don't get to wear anything like this. I'm jealous. I guess I could. I could wear these, but then people would question my sexuality. And if I had $1 for every time someone questioned my sexuality, I could buy a fabulous new handbag. Okay, enough of that. Enough, I tell you. Alright, so, although my mom always said I should marry another guy, that way my wardrobe would double. Ba-dun-dun-ting. Remember, if you like Remember to tip your waitresses and drive home safely. And if you like me, tell your friends about me. If your friends like me, then get new friends. So, don't worry, I won't quit my day job. I'll keep cutting lenses. I'll never make it as a stand-up comedian. So I've tucked the lens in at the outside corner. I push down at the nose because the nose is the thickest part of the frame. And sorry, still not going to do it. Another 1/10 of a millimeter. I'm not forcing the lens in there. I'm going to slip this in there so it just slides right in easily. Again, I do not want to apply any force. The lens is going to apply force to the frame, you know, just being in there. So being large, you just never know when it's going to apply. When frames break here, that's because the lens is cut too large. I cut every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide. So forgive me for taking a little longer in this video. I should not apologize for being a perfectionist. Trust me, you want someone like me cutting your lenses, because this frame will be for sale in an antique shop 40 years from now. It'll keep living. At least based on me. I'm doing my part. That old saying, I'm not expected to complete the task, but I'm not forgiven for not doing my part. So I'm going to do my part to make sure this frame lasts for many more years. Now, Bethany, I want you to open the door with your mind. Pretty good. I could have done it with my mind. I can do a lot of things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours. I just have to stare at it, but I could do it. Gosh. Look, a little schwarf on my pinky. Into the trash it goes. There we go. Now that snaps in there perfectly. Take the block off, dry it off with my hand. You like that technique, do you? Now, kids, remember, I went to school for years to learn how to dry things off with my hand, so don't just expect to be able to do that on day one. Take my little sticky pad, create with my Snapchat image. That's what it looks like. So, all right, let's come down here, back to my lensometer, put it in above the black dot, your PD, read the power, and I'm getting -150, exactly halfway between 1 and 2. Again, because your prescription -150 sphere, no astigmatism, so we're done. I don't have to check for the second curvature because you ain't got one. So, let's come back down here. Let's bring the glasses with me. So, this is the point in every video. Well, no. Let's check your pupillary distance. 27.5 and 29. Hang on, 29, 29, 58, 57 and a half. I didn't know there was going to be so much math involved. I'm going to turn the card around, place the PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we look on the left lens, we're getting 58.5 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Now, this is the portion in every video that as I clean your lenses, I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance, I was going to say that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask these. So since these are not yours, Bethany, you've never worn them, and you bought these off the internet, take them to your local doctor's office or any place that sells eyeglasses and just tell them what needs to be done. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute to adjust a pair of glasses perfectly. And I was going to say, as you see, I was trying not to get close to the edge of your frame, but there's still one dot right there, so I'm going to go ever so slightly using my fingernail as to separate, and then pulling away from the frame, drying that off. Let's go ahead and clean these a little bit better. But normally I would get these in standard alignment, but because these are your frames, although you know what, you've never worn them before, so I'll still get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are, keeping you in suspense, the 3 points are, by the way, I cleaned as much of that 40 years worth of makeup that was built up on there. You still have a little bit of the edges there that you can probably clean off with your thumbnail or just soapy water. Take some Dawn or Palmolive and an old toothbrush and then just scrub, or just let this soak, and get a glass, drinking glass with a drop or two of dish soap, fill it up with warm water, and just let this sit in there overnight to help clean these. But the 3-point stance, the 3 points are, just put my fingerprint on the lens, 1, 2, at the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. And actually, I've done most of this already. I apologize. When you sent these to me, these were stretched out, and when I used the heat to remove the lenses, I also bent the frame from being stretched out back to a normal size, so these are not so spread out anymore, and this should fit the size of your head much better now. But as I mentioned, there was no wobble. When I take mine off, I'm part of that 80%. Mine wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. Let me put mine back on so I can see what I'm doing and finish. Press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly and neither one is askew. Check the tension on each hinge, and this one feels a little bit looser, so let me get my flathead screwdriver. Give that a short twist. Yeah, now that's standard. The other thing with the old frame, and this is true with new frames, especially true with old frames, but you never want these to be so tight that they're hard to close. You want them to close easily, because if it was hard to close when you did it with two hands, that would apply an enormous amount of torque to the bridge. And that's why glasses break in the middle, is because these are too tight, and when you go to close them, the only way the force can be released is by breaking right there. So you want these to be able to move back and forth easily. Now, let me clean my fingerprint off, and of course, I'm going to provide a selfie request to have your picture on the website, Bethany. I don't have any Cateye pictures. You got to send me your picture with these on. And I field test every cleaning cloth to make sure that it works. So when you get this in the mail and there's a wrinkle in it right there, you know that it works. And I also provide instructions not only how to care for your frame and lenses so they will last you for years, but if you're for my brand new microfiber cleaning cloth and the one that you had your frames wrapped up in, we got to work on that. I think I'll do that for you. Hello, how are you? Please visit www.soulshinesundries.net. Okay, I think I've done my part with that. And so that's it. If you like what you've seen, if you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's freeprescriptionlenses@freeprescriptionlenses.com. You can email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com, or simply click the contact me button on the website. If anyone out there has bought some glasses on the internet, Cateye or otherwise, feel free to mail them to me and I can do it. Any power prescription lens is $49.99 in polycarbonate. I can do high index, I can do plastic, I can do high index plastic, I can do Trivex, I can do tinted, I can do polarized, I can do transitions with anti-glare. Of course, you just got the anti-glare, but there's nothing I can't do with a lens. So just reach out to me if you have your own frame. Prescriptions are $49.99 in your frame. With this one, anti-glare, I only added $44.99 for a total of $94.98. And again, priceless when she considered that no one would even touch these frames at every shop she went to. So it just cost her a few bucks to mail these to me. My shipping address is on a top banner of my website. It has my P.O. box on there to mail to. Of course, please contact me before you do. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them on the comment section down below the description of this video. But Bethany in Fargo, North Dakota, hopefully you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription anti-glare lenses for your vintage Cateye frames. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that loving feeling back to glasses. Thank you.